Visuals crafted by AI. This film demonstrates AI's potential in storytelling, aiming to foster understanding and adoption through relatable scenarios. Thank you for watching and contributing to a future of integrated AI. Alright, Tech Fam, buckle up. Today we're diving into a story not about algorithms or LLMs or futuristic AGI. This one's about a guy, a dev, a legend in the halls of Innovotech Solutions. His name, Arjun. And before AI tools started writing half our code, Arjun was the tool, in the best way possible. Just a few years out of college, but Arjun, he wasn't your average junior developer still figuring it out. Nah, this guy had range. You've heard of human calculators? Arjun was a human Stack Overflow. Picture this. You're stuck in a loop. Can't figure out why that one endpoint is returning a 403 when it should be clean. While most of us are still rereading error messages like they're cryptic scrolls, Arjun, he's already got 5 browser tabs open. One's a Stack Overflow thread from 2018. One's a deep dive GitHub issue comment. Another, a Medium post written by a guy in Latvia who ran into the same bug last summer. This man was a digital detective on hyperdrive. No IDE plugin, no copilot, just instant grid and an unholy alliance with Ctrl plus F. Need a feature? Arjun wouldn't just build it, he'd source it from the void. Half-documented public API? No problem. He'd find the one Reddit comment that mentions the undocumented query. Param, boom, done. He wasn't just coding. He was social programming, a ritual of deep Googling, smart borrowing, and elegant assembly. Every bug fixed, a trophy. Every feature shipped, a victory dance in the realm of open knowledge. He'd come into work with a coffee in one hand, and yesterday's hack still fresh in his head. And his teammates? Yeah, they loved him, because no matter how stuck they were, Arjun had a lead, a thread to pull, a direction to search. He was the guy who knew what to look for, where to adapt, and when to unleash it. At Innovotech Solution, he wasn't just a dev. He was the anchor, the safe harbor, the "Hey Arjun, do you have a sec?" guy. And life was good. Deadlines were tight, sure, but the team flowed because Arjun flowed. This ecosystem of human-driven knowledge, community docs, GitHub gists, dev, 2 posts, it was his playground, and he played it like a symphony. He thrived, and in that moment, in that era, he was untouchable. But while Arjun was deep in a merge conflict on a Friday afternoon, somewhere in the background, something shifted. It started with a whisper, a faint headline. AI assistant now auto-completes functions with 95% accuracy. Hype, he thought. Another gimmick tool, probably gonna suggest sorting a string with a for loop. He shrugged, hit commit, refreshed Slack, moved on, but the whisper, it kept growing. Next week, someone in DevOps shared a blog post. How I shipped an entire backend with GPT. Then a junior dev ran a quick prompt through a tool and said, "Hey Arjun, this just saved me 3 hours. He chuckled, that's cute. Still not sold, but the headline, it stayed. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, quietly, something began to shift. PR started coming in faster. Not cleaner, not always better, but faster. The junior devs started talking less in group threads and more to AI assistants embedded in their IDEs. The question stopped being, how do I fix this bug? And became, why did the AI write this way? And Arjun, he felt it. The current was changing. He still had his edge, but something unfamiliar was in the air. Not fear exactly, not obsolescence, but a redefinition. The skill was shifting from remembering the right answer to knowing the right question. And then came the moment. Late night. Everyone else gone home. Just Arjun, his screen. And that prompt. He hovered over the AI input box. Fingers tense. He typed, "Can you refactor this recursive function into a non-blocking async flow?" Click. Response in under 5 seconds. Not just code. Explanation, alternatives, trade-offs. Arjun leaned back, brows raised, eyes squinted. It made sense. It wasn't magic. It wasn't perfect, but it was smart. That night, he didn't go home frustrated. He went home curious. for the first time in weeks. Arjun didn't know it yet. But the next chapter of his journey wasn't about beating the AI. It was about partnering with it, leveling up, letting go of control, and grabbing the wheel of possibility. Because in the wild west of code, even legends have to evolve. And Arjun, he was just getting started. Then, the first tremor, Arjun, the bug slayer, the debugger of legends, was stumped. A nasty payment gateway integration issue. Intermittent failure, no logs, no pattern, a ghost in the machine. He had been wrestling with it for hours, testing, retesting, changing endpoints, disabling middleware, pulling his hair out, quietly, professionally. But yeah, he was stuck. And then out of nowhere, a junior developer strolls up, cool as a cucumber, laptop in one hand, cold brew in the other. Hey Arjun, they say, I think this might help. Arjun turns, skeptical but open. The junior flips the screen toward him, and there it is, the fix, not just a patch, a proper solution. The code was clean, elegant, readable, almost too perfect. He scans it once, then again. No weird hacks, no leftover console logs, just clarity. Arjun blinks. Where do you find this? He asks. Stack Overflow, GitHub. The junior shrugs. Nah, just ask the AI assistant, my IDE. And it nailed it. Arjun chuckles. The kind of chuckle that says, I'm not threatened, but also kinda is. Nice catch, he says, and he means it, genuinely. But inside, there is a shift, a rumble, something unspoken, a seed of doubt, freshly planted. He tells himself it's a fluke, a one-off. AI got lucky. After all, he's seen AI hallucinate a for loop into a seg fault. He's seen it misquote documentation from 2014. This was just a good guess, right? But even as he dives back into his terminal, a small voice lingers in the back of his mind. Not loud, not disruptive, just there, whispering, what if this is just the beginning? But the whispers, they grew. Soon it wasn't just the junior devs, it was everyone, leads, designers, DevOps, even product managers. You'd hear it in stand-ups. Great for boilerplate, they'd say. Perfect for quick fixes. Casual, confident, almost normalized. And Arjun, he watched and listened. His initial skepticism began to erode. So one late night, coffee half gone, tab chaos in full swing, he gave it a try. He opened the AI assistant, typed in a simple prompt, nothing fancy, just write a function to validate email addresses. Boom, there it was, in under a second. Rejects and all. He raised an eyebrow. Okay, that was fast. He tried another, then another. Snippets, utilities, clean, consistent. But deep down, he still felt superior. Because Arjun, he could reason, he could understand, he could optimize, he could innovate. Right? And then, the hammer dropped. Not subtly, not quietly. In a packed, company-wide meeting, the CTO stepped up to the mic and laid it bare. AI wasn't just some handy assistant anymore. It was becoming the standard. Words like efficiency, speed, innovation, they flashed on the presentation screen like headlines. The room buzzed. Some people nodded, some smiled. But Arjun, every buzzword felt like a blow. Because to him, they all translated to keep up or get left behind. That announcement, it wasn't just about rolling out new software. It was about something deeper, something personal. It was about the very definition of a developer. And Arjun, the guy who prided himself on his grit, his hacks, his social programming superpower, he felt a chill, not physical, existential, because in that moment, his edge, his identity, his flow suddenly felt obsolete. Arjun's desk became a battlefield. The keyboard, his sword, the monitor, his shield. But the war, it wasn't just with code anymore. It was with time, with progress, with the creeping shadow of something new, something faster. His tried and true methods, once admired, once unmatched, now felt like shackles. Heavy, outdated. Every line of code he wrote by hand, every semicolon placed with surgical care, felt like he was building a house, brick by brick, while everyone else was using prefab AI blueprints. He jumped between tabs, copying a snippet from Stack Overflow, reading comments from 3 years ago, tweaking, testing, debugging again and again and again, and then he'd look up. Around him, his colleagues weren't doing that anymore. They were prompting, conversing, collaborating with the machine. They weren't searching for the solution, they were shaping it in real time. Make it asynchronous. Refactor with better error handling. Now test it. Click, boom, done. And for Arjun, that gulf between him and them, it wasn't just technical, it was existential. Every time he heard the soft chime of an AI suggestion, every time someone around him said, "Yeah, the AI just handled it," that weight on his chest grew heavier. It wasn't just about efficiency anymore, it was about identity, relevance. The fear wasn't just being slow, it was being replaceable, and that terrified him. The pressure mounted. Arjun had been assigned a critical, high stakes feature. It had a name, a code name, Project Phoenix. It was complex, layered, time sensitive, a feature that would power the company's next big release. And all eyes, they were on him. He dove in, fired up his IDE, opened a blank file, and began typing. The old way, Stack Overflow at the ready, dozens of tabs, trial and error. But it was slow, the kind of slow that seeps into your bones. Days blurred together, coffee cups piled up, he lost track of meals, he missed a stand up, then two. And the deadline, it loomed, a shadow growing longer each day. Priya, calm, focused, already finishing her part of the sprint, noticed. She walked over, soft smile, supportive eyes. And she offered something simple, a gesture, a lifeline. Want to see how I'm using the AI assistant? But Arjun, he hesitated, then shook his head. Not out of rudeness, but out of something deeper. Pride. That deep, ingrained belief in his method, that human method, the way he'd always done it. He told himself he just needed more time, just one more reference thread, one more fix. But the truth, he was clinging to the familiar, even as it failed him. In the end, he delivered. Barely. A solution that worked, but it lacked something. That spark, that elegance, the kind of quality he used to be known for. It was functional, but not memorable. And for Arjun, that hurt more than any bug ever could. Because he didn't just miss the deadline, he missed himself. But then something shifted. Humbled by his near miss, Arjun sat at his desk in silence, eyes trailing across the room, watching Priya. She wasn't panicking, she wasn't scrambling, she wasn't drowning in tabs like he had been. What Arjun saw wasn't a programmer being replaced by AI. He saw a programmer elevated by it. Priya wasn't just typing out prompts, she was orchestrating. Every keystroke felt deliberate. She asked nuanced questions. She pushed the AI, challenged its output. She didn't settle for the first draft. She refined it, iterated, demanded better explanations, clearer logic. And the AI, it responded, adapting, improving. It wasn't about what the AI could generate, but how she was asking, what she was asking, and how she interpreted and sculpted the response. This wasn't automation. This was collaboration. This wasn't just coding, it was prompt engineering. The true artistry of human and machine working together. And in that moment for Arjun, the fear evaporated. Gone was the dread of being replaced. Gone was the resistance. What took its place? Clarity, possibility, a surge of understanding that electrified him from within. He didn't need to abandon his instincts, he needed to evolve them. He saw the path forward. And it wasn't behind him, in forum posts and outdated threads. It was right in front of him, alive, dynamic, collaborative. With a renewed sense of purpose, Arjun dove headfirst into the new world. This wasn't about survival anymore. It was about mastery. He wasn't just learning how to use AI, he was learning how to wield it, to challenge it, to bend it to his will. Prompt engineering became his new obsession. Every tutorial, every doc, every case study, he devoured it. He studied not just what to ask, but how to ask. The subtle phrasing, the context, the constraints. And then it clicked. All those years of social programming, scouring Stack Overflow, reading through GitHub issues, comparing dozens of similar solutions. They weren't wasted. In fact, they were his greatest advantage. Because Arjun could do something the AI couldn't. He could recognize good code. He could feel the elegance in a well structured solution. He knew what questions to ask, and more importantly, when the answers weren't good enough. He began sculpting his prompts with the same care he once reserved for code. He would probe, iterate, refine, like a conductor guiding an orchestra. He'd bring harmony to complexity. He learned when to be specific and when to let the AI explore. He learned to collaborate, not just consume. He wasn't a typist anymore. He wasn't just a coder. He was a strategist, an architect of ideas, a true AI alchemist, transforming raw data into brilliance through thoughtful collaboration. And for the first time in months, Arjun felt like himself again, but sharper, faster, and more future ready than ever.
And then came the real test, a new, even more ambitious project. This time, Arjun wasn't just relying on Stack Overflow. He was orchestrating AI with surgical precision. He used it to explore advanced design patterns, to generate vast swathes of clean, efficient code, and even perform complex refactoring in minutes. What used to take days. Each prompt was deliberate. Every response, evaluated, refined, and evolved. He wasn't outsourcing the thinking, he was accelerating it. And the result, not just a working solution, but a masterpiece of efficiency and innovation. When he presented it, even the CTO was speechless.
This wasn't the Arjun of yesterday. This was a developer transformed. He hadn't just kept up, he had leapt ahead. He proved that the future wasn't about humans versus AI, but humans with AI. In the glow of 100 monitors, Arjun now moved with clarity, not hesitation. He wasn't just coding anymore, he was commanding the conversation. His prompts were sharp, his results spot on. Around him, the energy had shifted. Developers weren't racing against the AI, they were dancing with it. Ideas sparked faster, bugs were squashed instantly, and innovation felt alive again. This wasn't the future they feared, this was the future they were building together. Arjun's journey wasn't just about tools, it was a mindset shift. Because the future of coding isn't about typing faster, it's about thinking smarter. It's not man versus machine, it's man with machine. If Arjun's story gave you clarity or lit a spark, drop a like, share it around, and hit subscribe for more human AI journeys. Until next time, keep learning, keep evolving,